Greetings, greetings, greetings. And no, we're not in the lab. We're not in the lab. We're not in JL. We're not in Justice League headquarters. We're not in the HQ. We're not in the headquarters also. We're not at Hot 2100 Savannah. We're not there. We're at a very historic place. We are here at the Beach Institute. I'm here at the Beach Institute. So that's why, again, and when I came inside here, I remember being inside here and seeing these beams and all that like that when WW Law had me, Naja Nia Enzi, had our sisters here all right here, and we were all right here beginning to get all this together for what you all see today at the Beach Institute at 502 East Harris Street, which is a cultural center and art gallery here. And so that's where I'm at. I'm right here doing this show, Run Tell That. This is a special show, special place right here. Always got special people. And of course, y'all know this special person. He's been on the show before. It's my nephew, Kwesi, in the house. Kwesi,
How y'all doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. How about you, Uncle Jamal?
Doing great, doing great. And so this subject matter right here is dear to the heart of me and some of you out there right there. Is dear to a whole bunch of you all out here right now, because y'all know about this here wrestling. Y'all know about wrestling. And so that's what so I ain't got to go through some of the stuff with Tracy about what inspires him and things like that, because he can probably engage in some of the conversation because the stuff he's involved in. And so, but wrestling on Saturday nights after the news went off at 11:30, you know, we right there looking at wrestling with our grandmama right there on Hilton Head, and we eating our Neapolitan ice cream, our chocolate ice cream, or our strawberry ice cream, or our vanilla ice cream. We right there sitting down watching wrestling, and my grandma was saying, "Why they hitting that old man like that?" Because they had their hair dyed bleach blonde, so she thought they were old men. So you're looking at that, you know, that's right, you know, Sputnik Monroe, all that. See, because Quasey thought he threw that out on me. He ain't know we had knew about all that right there. The moon dogs, you had the moon dogs, all the assassins, you know, 1, 2, and 3, the wrestlers, you know, we had all that right there. So we doing wrestling. And then also some of y'all know Saturday afternoons, we looking at that Florida Championship wrestling also was coming on. You know, we talking with Gordon Soley, all that right there. You know, going back in the day, later on it evolves. So again, we ain't gonna get into some of it right now. We got something else we gotta get into, and so you know, share. I got a video. It's crazy. I got some videos, and so I know you're gonna make some commentary about some of these people, some of the things right here. So this is our first one right here.
Creatures of the Night. It's your girl Tati. Let's talk pro wrestling Black History Facts, Part 4. Sandra Parker is the first Black and publicly open lesbian to win a major world title in 1973. Sonny King is the first Black wrestler to co-hold the WWF tag title in 1972. Ernie Ladd became wrestling's first Black booker when he became a booker for Mid-South Wrestling. The original Reginald Siki was the first recorded world-colored heavyweight champion. Dory Dixon is Lucha Libre's first Black megastar in Mexico. And in 1963, Bearcat Wright defeated Freddie Blassie for the WWA World Heavyweight Championship, becoming the first Black person to win the title. And remember, it may be Black History Month, but every day Black history is made.
Now, some of y'all heard Freddie Blassie. Y'all might remember Classy Freddie Blassie, who was a manager in the WWF, you know, and so again, later on, WWE, all that, but you know how the guy, because they done bought up stuff. So Quasey, we're going to put it out there to you. This what, you know, because some people hear this and don't understand the significance, because, again, we're going to deal more with, again, Ernie, the cat lad who played professional football. So they said that he's the first Black booker. What is a booker when it comes to wrestling? What is a booker and why is that important?
A booker is something that the regular fan should not know who it is. It's very important in the professional wrestling world. The booker is basically a matchmaker in professional wrestling. He's the dude that the promoter hires to put together a wrestling card from top to bottom, from the first match to the last match. He's the one who is instrumental in matchmaking, and a lot of people don't really give the bookers any credit for some of the great matches they've seen over the years. So, like you said, Classy Freddie Blassie, all the main events he had, the booker was the one that put him in the main event to have that historical match. So that's why Ernie the Cat Lad being the first Black booker is very important. And something everybody should know.
Okay, all right. That's what we want to throw on out there, and that's significant. So again, they go and set it up, and so then you also have promoters. What's the job of the promoter when it comes to wrestling?
Just like anybody who promotes concerts, parties, and anything, their job is to get the show out there. They the ones who is in charge of the marketing, basically. Promoter typically be the one who's owned the promotion, but they promote it in their territory, their area, their city. They promote the match, the main event, or the show, whatever show it having. That's the promoter.
Okay, okay. So, what intrigued you? What caused you to have this interest in wrestling? What happened?
Oh, it's a long story. I'm gonna try to keep it short. So I've been watching wrestling as a little boy. I tried to go back and see like where was like the first time I watched it. Nobody really knows, so I just gave the title to my great grandma because that's the only person that people know that she was a fan of wrestling until she died. Everybody knew that. So nobody else in the family watched wrestling at the time when I was born. It was just her, so I give her the credit. But I've been a fan since I was a little boy. I actually grew out of it. I didn't say grew out of it. I fell out of love with it. I didn't like wrestling by a certain age. Until my pops, my father, Charles Jones, Chucky. I know him as Chucky in the city. He had a DVD called Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen. And he made me sit down and watch it, even though I did not want to watch it. Made me sit down and watch it and say, this is what wrestling was like back in the day. And you going to learn. I said, I did not want to learn. Y'all wrestling was boring. He put in the DVD, and I actually I fell back in love with wrestling with that. So if it wasn't for my pops showing me Ric Flair and how wrestling was in the 80s, I probably would not be a fan to this day. So shout out to him.
Okay, all right. And so I remember you asked me a question about a facility that was in East Savannah, and I said that boxing took place over there. And so in my mind, I'm saying to myself, like, why he asked me? That's kind of interesting that he asked that question about that location. So I'm gonna let y'all know. Of course, might be a lot louder, but they have a board meeting going on here at the Beach Institute. So I know if I get loud, they're gonna say, we let Jamal out here do this podcast, his run tell that, and he getting all loud, so he's not respecting our meeting. So, but yeah, I will get louder. So, but Quasi came to me. He came to me and asked me a question. And I said, yeah, it was right over there, right there in East Savannah on Gwinnett Street, right over that side. And so more things started happening, more things started sparking. And so with regards to that, and so when it comes down to it, it was a great promoter here by the name of Reverend William Franklin Stokes. William Franklin Stokes. Some of y'all know him as the pastor at historic First African Baptist Church. Y'all also know that his brother had Stokes shoe repair, a shoe rebuilding right there on Montgomery Street. Say, I remember Montgomery Street. Some of y'all gonna say it was on West Broad Street. Yo, listen. When I was growing up, by the time he was right there on on Montgomery Street. So I didn't know the West Broad Street location. So, but right there, Reverend William Franklin Stokes, pastor of historic First African Baptist Church, was a promoter. And we used to see him at night on that Saturday night, not promoting his ticket. So that's why when regards to what Quasi is saying, I'm like, oh, okay. So all this is falling right in line that again, Reverend William Franklin Stokes, So it was like all intriguing, and that Savannah connection, Savannah tie with regards to all this right here. And so one of the people that stood out to me also in my mind, because there were several of them, but one of the things that was unique was that seeing Sweet Daddy Siki, he'll come. Always here, but Sweet Daddy Siki had blonde hair. Sweet Daddy Siki come here, bam. Yo, it was intriguing to see that. And you're looking at these folks out there, put it on the line. And so, quick question, we're going to throw it out there because some people are asking the question, is wrestling fake? Is wrestling fake?
I hate hearing that question. Professional wrestling is not fake. You can argue with your mama. Professional wrestling is not fake. Now, sports entertainment, I can't defend that. I can't defend that. I cannot defend that at all. But the sport of professional wrestling is not fake. It never been fake. All y'all preconceived notions of what professional wrestling is, you do not know what you're talking about. It's not fake, especially back in the day. It was not fake. You might think you know what's going on, but you do not know what's going on. I took my time. I did this on my own. I studied professional wrestling for the last 10 years. I promise you. It's not fake.
So why do you have some of the stuff that goes on? Why like the injuries and all other things like that? Why? So what is all that about? What is it? Is that real stuff? With them flipping and all that right there?
I would say this, people like to say, it's fake, but you can't. If I want to pick you up and slam you, you can't fake that. Even if you let me pick you up and slam you, you are getting slammed. The ring is not soft. It's not a trampoline. It's not heavily padded. It's very hard. I bet you, if you ever go to a wrestling show, you ever get the opportunity to touch the ring, you'll be surprised how hard it feels. Okay, but that's why they train for the amount of time they do. So they are, what's the word I'm looking for? They are accustomed to the shock that your body feels when it gets slammed, or whenever you get chopped in the chest, or whenever you get forearmed in the face. All that is real. All right. It just science that go behind it. Of why you don't get seriously injured all the time. But you do get seriously injured after a while, depending on the situation. There's accidents everywhere. In the sport of football, a lot of freak things happen. You don't mean to go out there and break somebody's ankle, but it's possible. In boxing, you don't mean to break somebody's nose, but it's possible, So keep that in mind when it comes to professional wrestling.
All right. So again, Sister Deirdre, glad to have you with us. Sister Rhea, glad to have you. Mark, glad to have you with us. And also having Randall and Michael, glad to have y'all checking out the show. We say everybody share. Gianna, we glad to have you also. We say peace and blessings to y'all. So again, we're going to throw it on out there. And that James, glad that you like the show. That's what we try to do. And Theodore, again, we are also glad, that you like the conversation, because this, again, we see this around the world because it's international. And so what we're going to do right now, because then we're going to open up for some other things, but we're going to take a break right now. We're going to take a time out. Because there's no timeouts in wrestling. There's no timeout. But we're going to take a time out. This time, we're going to take a time out. We'll be right back. This is Rontel that we got our brother Quincy Jones with us in the house.
Savannah, are you looking for some of the best Southern soul food? Then check out Kim's Cafe at 714 MLK Boulevard. The food is so good, you'll think that your mother cooked it. Located in the heart of Savannah, Kim's has a menu that includes breakfast anytime, lunch when you need it, and dinner so you won't have to cook when you get home. They also cater all types of events and can host your reserved event at the restaurant. Come see what everyone has been raving about. Great food, great atmosphere, and a great time. Kim's Cafe, 714 MLK Boulevard in beautiful downtown Savannah.
We are back. This is Rontel that we said everyone share, and got on here my nephew, my fam, my brother Quincy in the house, and again, Mike, all y'all joining us. And so we got another element with regard to this to professional wrestling. So there was a series that was done with regards to this. So I gleaned some of that, and I got some of this right here. And we got some local people too that we need to have some conversation about with regards to this. But we're gonna throw this on out here to you too.
From the ghettos, we hardcore fighters. To survive in the ghetto, you must be hardcore.
Just get Iceman a few minutes of your time, and I know you can dig it.
I've got the whole weight of my people to bear on my shoulders because of that. Right here is the best black athlete in the world, my brother.
What are you doing? Hey!
Rufus Jones just got some news from Super the after Super Bowl or knock somebody out.
And a headbutt from Tony Evans.
Maybe what you should be doing, boy, is signing shoes. Why don't you just brush them up a bit? You want to be a tough guy? Hey, brother, here's your mom. You got it. Hey, what I
Cause see, let me tell you, me and Rufus look just alike, but Rufus is Uncle Tom, and I'm a soul brother. That's why our people right now can't get to the top, because crabs just like you.
They ain't nothing, man.
Well, thank you, brother. Don't tell them I'm nothing, but somebody that kicks your teeth in. And one thing about it, don't never call me Ray Chandler, because when you call me Ray Chandler, I'm going to hit you harder and harder. That's right.
Ain't nobody gonna ever hit a brother with no whip, because let me tell you, it ain't slavery, it's 1985, sucker.
And you know, Daddy, I'm just about the happiest man in the world right now.
Oh yeah, it's gonna come down to you or me, kicking in the doghouse.
I said we are wrestling again, brother. The nature boy and Sad Bad And let me tell you something, girl. I'm black, and I'm proud of it, you hear me?
It's a pride of our people and what we do, and I represent our people out here.
So Quasi, get your thoughts on it, but then also, get your thoughts on it, but then also, who are some of the wrestlers that were showcased in that? Because again, that's what we want to get some of that out, because you got wealth of information, knowledge about song. So go ahead, son, because we got some others. There's gonna be some others too. But
I'm a miss some, but let me see if I can catch them all. You got Coco Ware, also known as Coco Beware. You got Bad News Brown, also known as Bad News Allen. You got Savannah's own Bad Leroy Brown. I can't forget him.
Hold up, you can just hold up. You say Coco Ware. Just let them know who Coco Ware is. You can like that one, so you can give them some of it. You say Coco. Do you know Coco Beware? But yeah, go ahead.
I mean, okay. Let me give you the ones that were significant to me. Then, how about that? I do that to you.
The ones that you saw within there. That's what I'm just saying.
I got you.
And just say some things about them. Go ahead. Yes,
all right. So one of the ones that should be recognized more than what he is the Junkyard Dog. A lot of y'all know him as the Junkyard Dog in the WWFE. But his prime came in like the late 70s, early 80s, and Louisiana territory when he sold out the Superdome. A lot of people don't know that about the Junkyard Dog. He was not just a great black wrestler. He was not that. He was a great wrestler, period. He's up there with any other white wrestler as far as selling tickets and being the most famous wrestler of any territory or in the world at one point. He's very significant in that, because as a matter of fact, only other person that sold amount of tickets as Junkyard Dog did in the late 70s, early 80s was, what's his name? Bubba Brazil, up there up north. Bubba Brazil was a main eventer in the WWF that back in the 60s. In the north, he also sold out in Canada and in the Ohio territory and Indiana. A lot of people don't discuss him. He was also one of the first ones to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship. And he played a video about Bearcat Wright, right? Yeah. When he was technically the first world champion, right? But Bubba Brazil was the one who actually challenged for the world championship that was defended all around the world. Bearcat Wright was the champion in the California territory. I ain't gonna take nothing away from Bearcat Wright, but it's significant that Bubba Brazil was a challenger for the most recognized or the world famous championship. That's more prestigious than the one that Bearcat Wright held, because that's no longer around. So I don't want to put that out there.
Okay, that's why we got you here. That's what we want. The people to hear that. So again, we give you that on Run Tell That. A lot of people don't get that, so that's what we're doing on our platform.
Yes, sir. That's it. But also they had Butch Reed, also in the Louisiana territory, one of the famous black wrestlers. He also was a tag team partner of Ron Simmons and WCW. Now a lot of people don't know this, but Butch Reed was Ron Simmons' mentor during that time. You know, Butch Reed started way before Ron Simmons, so he guided him through the territory days into the major promotion, which they became the first recognized world tag team champions before the WWE did that with The Rock's dad and Tony Atlas. That's a little known fact too, right there. You know, it's a lot of technicalities of the sport of professional wrestling, but I make sure that I study them and see which one makes sense and which one actually holds up to today's standards.
Yeah, and so Bad Leroy Brown. Go ahead. Who is that person right there? Bad Leroy Brown.
Bad Leroy Brown, which is a shame that is not that much information about him. He was from Savannah, Georgia. He was a professional wrestler that was trained. I can't remember who he was trained by, but he got a start in Atlanta, Georgia. He was well known in the Georgia territory, but he also traveled to Florida. He also was in the WWF for a short stint. He was in Texas and Mid-South Wrestling and the Carolinas. He was all over, but he was most famous in the state of Georgia. He was the one that came out to the song Bad Leroy Brown. It's a rock and roll song. I heard it once. I don't know the lyrics, so don't ask me to sing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was the dude who came out with the overalls, you know, the bald head. You know, you seen him in the clip with Ric Flair. You know, so you know, it's not that much known about him, unfortunately. Hopefully I can do like a book about him if I get to know who his family is in the city. But he's one of the very few wrestlers from Savannah, Georgia that made it big. The list is not long.
The baddest man in the whole damn land. Bad Leroy Brown. Yeah. And so somebody on there too, you know, I don't know if you're gonna say it, Rufus R. Jones. Now,
I'm not gonna lie, you got me there. I don't know much about Rufus R. Jones. I heard of him.
Okay.
But I don't know much about him. That's on you. That's you gotta tell me about him.
You know, and Rufus R. Jones talk that soup bone and other stuff like that. Something like, I'm gonna give you that soup bone, you know, bam. Rufus R. Jones. And so, yes, and so that's what we throwing it out there because, again, this is history right here. You got a wealth of information, the intricacies with regard to this right here. So, because, again, and now what happens too? Folks going to discuss that wrestling has some stereotypes. That's why you hear initially coming out saying that we from the ghetto and so things like that. So, how do you deal with and address the stereotypes that are put and promoted in wrestling?
All right, so the stereotype
we see with regard to Native Americans and Asians, also African American. We're talking about African Americans right now. What's your thoughts with regards to that, and why is that part of getting over it?
Now, as far as stereotypes, I feel like there's no need for them today. It don't make sense to do it now, but back then, it helps. It helped. Now we call stereotypes, but that's some of the wrestlers that came up with their own gimmick in a way. All right. So in professional wrestling, your goal is to get the audience to feel you or to understand you, right? So, like Coco Ware said, correct me if I'm wrong? That was Coco Ware that said that, right?
Well, that's why. I remember that probably was him, but and then you evolved to Coco Beware. So yes,
right. So with that, all the black kids during that time who were in the ghetto, they recognized or they felt like that was somebody who represented them in the ring. Right, so they had a hero to look up to. So whenever, I guess you won't call him the bad guy or whatever, would do something to their hero, they would feel it. They would boo the bad guy. They would hate the bad guy until their hero come back and beat the bad guy in the end, and then they cheer. They're happy. You know, it's psychology. It gets them wanting to come back, even if their hero loses. You want to come back next week to see them beat the guy and get even. It's psychology behind it. So whenever you see a white wrestler in the past that try to whip a black wrestler with a whip, you gotta watch the whole video because when the black wrestler grabbed the whip and take the whip and hit the white wrestler with it, you see the fans jumping up, getting happy. The white wrestler getting what he deserved and just getting whipped in the end. Did I explain?
All right. Okay. All right. Excellent job. You get into. So now you have some phrases in wrestling. You have the face and the heel. What is a face and what is a heel?
A face or the baby face is basically the good guy in wrestling. The one that you cheer for, the one that you sympathize with, the one that you recognize is from your neighborhood. That's a baby face. A heel is the guy you don't like, the bad guy, the one you want to boo, the one you want to attack. That some fans actually try to attack heels. I don't know why you did that back in the day, but those are the heels. And it don't matter if you're white or black. You could be a baby face or you could be a heel. And depending on which territory you in, like Louisiana, which was a predominantly black territory, Junkyard Dog was a face, or Sputnik Monroe. In Memphis during the 60s, he was a face to the black community and a heel to the white community, like a white man.
And why is that? Elaborate on that.
So Sputnik Monroe was credited as being the pioneer to help desegregate sporting events in Memphis, Tennessee. During the time where their territory was experiencing a downfall in their attendance, Sputnik Monroe had an idea because he noticed that they had the thing called the crow's nest, which is the nosebleed seats, as you know us today. All the black people had to sit at the top, like I was down here, and all the white people sat at the bottom or front row. Sputnik Monroe recognized that the crow's nest was always sold out, but ringside was never sold out during his time. So what he did was he started shouting out the black community in his promos or his interviews. He started to hang out in black clubs at night. He would get arrested for drinking with black folks on Bill Street. He would when he would go to court for being arrested, he'll be represented by a black lawyer. And so all this used that as publicity. So when he's back on TV, he will shout out the black community saying that these are my fans, these are my people, and I love them. White fans did not like that, but black fans did. So when it comes to him wrestling in a wrestling match, white fans will come see him lose, black fans will come see him win. Right? And with that, it took time for white people to come see him. So he encouraged his promoter at the time to let the black people sit at the bottom because they started to turn the black people away because they didn't have enough seating at the crow's nest. And which because of that, and the sport of wrestling was the first one to desegregate, which led to football and then basketball and then so on and so forth. So he was the one who was credited, and still to this day, his wrestling boots and some of his ring gear is on display in a museum in Memphis to commemorate his efforts to desegregate the sporting world in Memphis. Yeah.
And what you don't realize, what you just not gave some powerful history, American history right now when you discuss that whole scenario. That's why we got you on here. That's why we weren't concerned about other people, because we know you got the information. And that is something that when people talk about civil rights and all that, guess what? You done brought some information that is historical information that is on Run Tell That. It's not on any other show. It's on Run Tell That. And you just want to throw it on out there. You just want to put out some powerful information.
And that's another thing too. Professional wrestling, the real history of professional wrestling is not told, not even by the WWE. You won't see nothing about Sputnik Monroe on their website or nothing. But it's a real story. He's a real man. You can look him up. You can fact check me if you don't believe me. He's like that. And he was one of the top draws in the Memphis territory. I did not know. Jamal told me that he actually came to Georgia and wrestled when he was a little kid. I never knew that. So that's how that goes to show how much history is lost when it comes to the sport of professional wrestling.
Because that was one people used to look at on television and see and hear him come and that on some of these cars that he's right here. So yeah, that's why we knew about Sputnik Monroe. And so that was one of the things. And I did not know that part that you threw up and you had put out there. So again, that's why this is a great time. This is a great historic moment for us with regards to this, putting this information people don't know. And so what we're going to do, we got another set of people that you might possibly be able to go and say something about, discuss some things about. We're going to throw it on out here right now.
Now everybody's out there for one thing. To make that dollar. Can you dig? I feel that if I could just talk to y'all like I wanna.
Look ahead, Johnny Valentine. You better be ready, cause I'm ready, Daddy.
All 15 inches are nothing but a nutty bone knockout strike down. Ain't nobody gonna do this, and I ain't nobody gonna do this. You know what they say about your kind and my kind. We can't stand one another thundermouth.
It is detestable for me for anyone to take that name and use it as Bearcat Brown has used it.
Any man have a belt, he have everyone shooting for the belt.
Oh, I shouldn't try that.
From Gambia, West Africa, the man himself, Marcel Mula.
From Georgetown, Guyana, Prince Kumali. Get my happy. Thank you.
Would it be okay if I billed as a coloured cockney? Well, you are of Caribbean origin, so let's keep it to the Caribbean, shall we? Barbados, Caribbean Sunshine Boys. At that time, neither of us had seen the Caribbean.
So my brother.
You really putting me to shame tonight. You have a lot of clips. I don't know where you get these clips from. Do you know that some like majority of these clips, like towards the end, were from the Australia territory? You know that?
We know some was international. So yeah, some was international.
You had a lot that was international. You know.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Let me go ahead and stick with the national one because you threw a curveball at me with the international wrestling. You threw a curveball at me. Okay, so the two significant ones I seen in this video, Thunderbolt Patterson. A lot of y'all know because he was mainly in the Georgia territory. You know, the one that influenced Dusty Rhodes to talk like how he talked. You know, the Southern preacher style of talking. He was before The Rock. Thunderbolt Patterson was the greatest person on the microphone when it comes to giving interviews. You felt everything he said. He meant everything he said. And everything was authentic. He didn't try to sound like any of the white wrestlers. He was being himself unapologetically. And he stood on that. He stood on his blackness. And he's very significant for that. He actually was just inducted to the Hall of Fame last year in the WWE. I don't know if y'all know that or not. You know, but he is credited of being the influence of Dusty Rhodes and superstar Billy Graham, who wrestled both in Florida, Georgia, and in the WWF. Actually was a WWF champion for like 3 years straight. But other person, Big Cat Ernie Ladd. Let me give you a fun fact. In Cleveland, Ohio, in the late 70s, Ernie Ladd, after a match with Austin Baker, caused a riot in Cleveland, in the arena. You can go look it up on YouTube. It's Ernie Ladd and Austin Baker riot. If y'all don't know who Austin Baker is, he was a wrestler in the 60s and 70s, mainly the 70s, who was known for having a very unique mustache and a bald head. Right, he had this finisher called the Heart Punch. A Another thing that a lot of people don't know is it's this real fact. He wrestled a dude named Ray Gonka. Ray Gonka was the booker and later became promoter of Georgia Championship Wrestling that a lot of y'all grew up on. He had a match with Ox Baker in the Savannah Civic Center, brand new. He hit Ray Gonka with the heart punch. You know, he won the match. Ray Gonka got carried out into the back, and then after his shower, Ray Gonka shower, he sat down, he lumped over, and he passed away in Savannah, Georgia. Ray Gonka will become the first of 2 men to die after a match with Ox Baker from a heart punch, which takes me to Ernie Ladd in Cleveland. Everybody knows during this time, everybody knows Ox Baker's killed 2 men with a heart punch. Everybody knows that. It's famous. It's been in the newspapers, been on the news. So when Ox Baker hit, and I watched the video, he hit him like 4 times with a heart punch. Ernie Ladd fell down to the mat. He's shaking, he's quivering. Ox Baker get back on top of him. He punched him in the heart, which led to fans jumping into the ring to attack Ox Baker. Now, in the video, Ox Baker tried to fight off, but they kept coming, which led to another wrestler coming out to try to save Ox Baker. Still wasn't enough. They ran to the back, and while being chased after, one person threw a chair and hit Ox Baker in the back of the head. And until his death, he had a dent in his skull because of that. So I want to throw that little out there. A lot of people don't know that wrestling was so real back then that it caused riots, not just in Cleveland, but it happened in Atlanta, it happened in Texas, it happened in St. Louis, it happened all over the country. So, little fun fact there.
Absolutely. And that's what, hey, that's why we got you here. That's why they put it on out there. That's what this is about. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, but I wish you had that video to show. I wish you had that video to show of Ox Baker getting attacked by black fans in Cleveland, Ohio, because of their hero, Ernie Ladd, was being hit with a heart punch, and they believed that he was going to die because Ox Baker killed 2 men with the heart punch.
Okay.
Legitimately.
Okay. Yes, sir. Hey, yes, sir. We got something else. Well, no, we're gonna do this. We're gonna take another break. We're gonna come break. We're gonna come right back, and we'll let y'all know this right here. Hot 2100 Savannah and the world. This is the QR code. We say check us out. We play music 24/7. We give it to you. We got a variety of music that you can hear us going to put out there. Hot 2100 Savannah and the world. That's the QR code. We say use it and enjoy it. And we got things that'll be happening for you all tied to Hot 2100 Savannah, and you're going to hear more announcements. So check us on out. We are here in Savannah for you and the world. So yes, we're gonna come right back. And we say support all of our supporters. David Johnson Bozeman Law Firm offices in Savannah, Atlanta, and Statesboro. Kim's Cafe, 714 MLK Jr. Boulevard. Chef Food and Gas on the corners of Styles and Gwinnett Streets. Don't ride by, stop by. One Price is located in the Farmers Market in Garden City. And so we got my brother, my nephew Quasi on here, and we giving it out to you, or he's giving it out to you, some of this history and some of it tied to wrestling. And so we got something else, it might be some people in here that he might give some clues about, have some conversations about. Again, it might be from some other locales too.
There is no racism here in the World Wrestling Federation. We don't allow it. We'll allow it under any circumstances.
I'll be bad news, Brian. And Rod Piper, you ain't nothing but a fine cockroach.
Let's get off this subject, all right? Let's go to something else. We don't need to drive this into the ground. Let's get off this subject.
Go on, clean it up.
read your lips. That bottom one says inflate to 20 pounds. What about that?
Like I said before, the hell with all of you. This is the flag that's flying now. That rebel flag don't mean jack.
And I'm sick and tired of you putting out on my people. I'm sick and tired of you putting on the black people. You understand me?
Give me the mic. I don't need you. Turn it loose.
Because I am a black man in a white man's world. Now how does that shit take you?
For all this strapping away on Miss Texas for that leather strap. Come on, boys!
There's only one person leaving here and still the world's heavyweight champion. Booyah! Go and get rich.
Give me a towel.
It's time once again for everybody to come on up.
Now I'm out here to tell PN News what up. Because I know what's up and PN News needs to know what up.
I get this. You get it, King? She's just jealous.
Jealous?
She wants some of this, don't you?
Give me a break.
Now look at Coco ass. Oh boy. Wait a minute, you on General Law's side or what?
This is the man that has my back.
Do we love Bobby?
Testify! Oh my God! I got a lot left in the tank!
Listen, man, you don't want to look at that magazine. Know how to read. You know that magazine all about hating on a brother.
Yes, a man! What the rock! The most electrifying man in all of entertainment. Is cooking.
Can you cook with some of that? Can you cook with some of that with what you saw? What was some of the stuff you saw?
Yeah,
Can you cook with some of
yeah.
that?
So for the ones that are confused, and Jamal, you won't believe it, a lot of people don't know this, but The Rock is half black. That's why Jamal have a lot of videos of The Rock at the end of the video. He's half black. But I want to talk about my man Teddy Long, Theodore Long. I don't know if y'all know who that is or not, but
Yeah.
I love his story because he's like the definition of working his way up to the top. You know, a lot of people, I don't know if you remember this, Jamal, but in the late 80s, Teddy Long made his debut in professional wrestling as, you know what he was?
The referee.
He was a referee.
That's right.
He started off as a referee. He was a referee in the Jim Crockett. I'm sorry, I forgot. I know you know your history. I know you know your history. Teddy Long was a referee when he first started out, right? And by the time the early 90s came, he was a manager in WCW. Well, fast forward to 2000 or 2001, the WWE brought WCW, right? And because of that, Teddy Long had to start all the way over. He started off as a referee again in the WWE. After working his way up to a manager who managed the team of Doom, also known as Ron Simmons and Butch Reed. So fast forward to early 2000, he was a referee. And then he worked his way up back up to manager. He managed the likes of Mark Henry. He managed, I can't remember this guy's name. He didn't last that long. He was there for like 2 years. Another guy. He was also the manager, I believe, shortly of Devon Dudley. Very short period of time. But based on saying this, that he worked his way up and became the general manager of SmackDown in the WWE in the year 2005 or 6. You know, and then he never fell back down the card ever after that. He's now a Hall of Famer in the WWE. So his story is what you call not giving up, you know, hard working. Started from the bottom in Georgia. You know, he's from Atlanta. And yeah, I just love how like he just never gave up no matter what obstacle they threw at him. Even facing racism in the territory days in Georgia from the likes of the owner, Jimmy Crockett, and even Ric Flair. He said Ric Flair called him the N-word one time. Even though I'm a big Ric Flair fan, I am going to acknowledge that I hold everybody accountable, no matter what. But yeah, so I respect, and I actually got the chance to meet Teddy Long one time and ask some advice on becoming a wrestler and what I should look out for. So I want to put it out there. I also saw a lot of people like Shelton Benjamin. He's also a young wrestler. He started in the early 2000s. I'm pretty sure a lot of your audience don't know who he is. He used to wrestle in college, I believe, University of Minnesota. He's an amateur wrestler. He actually, when Brock Lesnar, former Minnesota Viking, former WWE champion, former UFC champion, when Brock Lesnar came to the University of Minnesota, Shelton Benjamin was his coach. He helped train and coach Brock Lesnar. They have this respect for each other to this day. They're still friends to this day. Bobby Lashley, also started in early 2000 in the WWE. Very muscular built dude. A lot of people don't know that he was going to the Olympics for wrestling, I believe. But he did not make it because he was at a bank one day and a man came in, tried to rob the place. He tried to stop the dude and the dude shot him. So he did not make it to the Olympic trials that year. But he was on track to be an Olympian. He became ECW champion, later on became the WWE champion, one of the few black people to hold the WWE championship to this day. He also had a successful MMA career. So he's a legit wrestler. Like I said, wrestling's not fake. Most of these dudes are real athletes. Remember that. I spoke on Shelton Benjamin. Mark Henry, also a dude who made it to the Olympics. He got injured. He was in the Olympics for weightlifting. World's strongest man. He's legit. As a matter of fact, in the year 2005, 6, 7, one of those years, the people who compete in like the world strongman competitions called him out for claiming to be the world's strongest man, even though he never had a real accomplishment because he couldn't compete after getting injured, for the Olympics. So he asked McMahon to step away from the WWE to compete, and McMahon gave him the wish, yeah, you can do that. But he said, if you lose, you cannot come back because you don't have room for the second strongest man in the world. So with that motivation, he went and he won and came back, and that catapulted his career to become a world heavyweight champion later on down the line in the WWE. So a few little history facts right there. A lot of you don't know.
All right. So I had something else. But you went and did something. See, because I had something else. But we're gonna use this right here because I had something else.
Okay. Hey,
So, are
hey,
you satisfied? Even though I had another video, but I had to go. Are you satisfied now? Go
I
ahead.
am satisfied. Hey, if that's not really y'all, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. Jamal gave you how to prove it. That ain't really y'all. I don't know what is. They got attacked. They got charged. It was crowd. Hey man, that you can't remake. You can't relive that. You can't remake that. You can't fabricate that. You can't fake that.
Yes,
That was,
indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
that was all emotions. That's your first time seeing the video, Jamal?
Yeah, that's the first time. Yeah.
How you
So,
feel about the video?
I mean, hey, it was it was a charged environment. It was charged up. It
Yes, it
was
was.
and people want to get a hold of it. I said, these are Quasi cousins right here. These Quasi cousins right here. This is family right here up in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Off. So yeah. So it's interesting. So now we went down to the last couple of minutes. What is the thing you want to let people know about understanding about wrestling? What is the thing, especially regarding the African Americans?
I want you to recognize that these are real athletes, especially the African American ones. We the black ones in wrestling, they fight twice as hard to get to the top, compared to the Caucasian counterparts. But the sport of professional wrestling is legit. It's hard to do. Everybody can do it, no matter what they tell you. It's more than just entertainment. It's more than just storylines. It's more than just being a character. You have to be authentic. You have to be real. Nobody likes to see anything fabricated. They want to see your true colors. So in the sport of professional wrestling, especially back in the day, if you were to be yourself, just times 10, you'll be successful. I want you to recognize that these are not actors; these are athletes.
All right. You've heard that. He gave his promo. He let it be known. And this is Run Tell That. And we should check out all our shows on our Black Media. You got the Rabble coming up in an hour. And so we say, check us out. Check us out also on Hot 2100 Savannah. And then we're going to probably have to do us a wrestling show in general on Hot 2100 Savannah or on our Black Media. Because again, you got a lot of insight we need to put out there. And we say to all y'all, share all our information. And check us out again on hot2100savannah.com. We signing out. We getting out of here. Peace and blessings.
Yes, sir.
Like this.